It is an odd occurrence that one of the most fun, distinctive, reliable, efficient, and just plain great motorcycle brands has been all but ignored in the US for 95 years. Yes, 95 years. Somehow, without you or me buying one, Moto Guzzi has survived to be the third oldest continuously manufactured motorcycle company in the world, eclipsed only by a brand from America and a brand from India. To most American enthusiasts, Moto Guzzi's impressive racing history is all but unknown, even though the brand has won over 3,000 races and a couple dozen world championships. Aiding Moto Guzzi in doing this was the first ever wind tunnel in the world that was built exclusively for motorcycles. It still exists behind the company's classic big red door in Mandello del Lario. It is very cool to see. Maybe the V9 is the bike to deliver Guzzi to the consciousness of a new generation of American motorcyclists. The all-new V9 is exceptionally user-friendly, with an engine spec'd specifically for rideability. If you can ride a motorcycle, you will feel instantly instinctively at home on this motorcycle, no excuses offered. The all-new V9, which is sort of mid-sized bike for Moto Guzzi, has a mostly new 90-degree, transverse-mounted, of course, 850 engine, 853cc, and is a bike that comes in two distinct personalities, Roamer and Bobber. First appearing in the year of the Summer of Love, 1967, the Moto Guzzi transverse-mounted V-twin engine is a signature of the Moto Guzzi brand, though there have been attempts to copy it. Like a boxer flat twin, vertical parallel twin, longitudinally mounted 90-degree twin, it's the signature layout of the brand. Guzzi's in the wind, fire-breathing, knee guards are unmistakable, even in these blacked-out versions with aluminum highlights. Though the engine is 90% new, as hinted at in its rounded exterior, it's still all Moto Guzzi, maintaining 2 valves per head and air cooling, though now with some added oil cooling and seriously revised thermodynamics. By advantage of where the cylinders and heads are located, out in the breeze, the engine is able to forego liquid cooling while easily complying with 4 Euro regulations. Assisting this is also the fact that the engine, being built for rideability, is low on peak horsepower, read, heat, and wide on torque, read, rider usability. The crankshaft is a surprising 30% heftier than that of the V7, giving it more presence of inertia that adds to its smoother ride. The Marelli electronic fuel injection has a single shared throttle body. The claimed performance figures are 55 peak horsepower at 6,250 RPM, and max torque of 46 pound-feet at 3,000 RPM. Most importantly, from 2,000 to the 7,000 RPM redline, torque never drops below 37 pounds-foot, providing an exceptionally wide and flat curve. There are plenty of motorcycles with larger engines that don't provide the happy low RPM usability of this power plant, which never complains at any combination of engine speed and throttle opening. This is impressive considering how some motorcycles with more peak torque and horsepower get unhappy as low as 3,000 RPM. It could be that having a drive shaft, rather than a chain with its associated unavoidable slack, contributes to that. Drive to the 6-speed transmission is through a single-plate dry clutch, which is fairly quiet due to the damping provided by the case covers. Incorporated into the IFI system is 2-level traction control (MGTC), one setting for dry conditions and one for wet, which is really all that's necessary on an all-around friendly motorcycle of this type. Rather than dry or wet, maybe happy and nervous are more appropriate terms, and that's all a rider needs solved. The overall design of the V9S came from the Centro-style Piaggio group, with input from the Piaggio Advanced Design Center (PADC), located in Pasadena, California. The bikes are all metal, including fenders and city covers, and have a steel twin-tube cradle frame with right-side-up fork legs. In fact, other than the electric switches, there might be no other plastic anywhere on these bikes. This is not by accident but by intent, to respect the machine aesthetics of these motorcycles. Please Google images of Italian futurism motorcycles if you'd like to see how Italy culturally celebrated the industrialization of the individual during the first 4 decades of Moto Guzzi. It's all about dynamos, power, magnesium, electron, speed, metals, freedom, and, of course, sex. The V9's two-sided cast aluminum swing arm houses the drive shaft and supports the bike on twin shocks with preload adjustability. The wheelbase is 57.7 inches, and Guzzi gives an all-wet but without fuel weight of 438 pounds and 70 pence. Fuel capacity is 3.9 US gallons, and at times during our ride, 57 miles per gallon was achieved, even though we were usually running at a fairly brisk pace and often in second gear on tight roads. Plus, I was often testing the rev limiter. For interstate speeds I preferred 4th or 5th gear, only feeling that 6th felt right at speeds noticeably above 75 miles per hour. The instrument gauge is a simple single classic round-faced design that has an analog speedometer with a small display for functions such as odometer, trip meters, fuel consumption, miles until fuel is needed, clock, ambient temperature, average speed, gear position, traction control setting, and a few lights for things such as low fuel, neutral, and blinkers. There is no tachometer but, again, that's not a draw for this bike's demographics.